Okay.
Hey, folks.
Hey, folks.
Hello, hello.
Hey, everyone.
We're just getting through some technical difficulties there. For everyone who is on, give you just a few seconds. We want to make sure all of the orientation is correct.
So if you could, press 1 if you can hear us, and 0 if you cannot hear us.
Yes. Hold on, just trying to get that together. Let me switch this. But I think we're cooking with grease. Welcome, welcome. We are Awaken with Mark. I'm Josiah. This is my mom.
Hey, Marlene.
Dad, Mark and Clutch.
Hi, I'm Mark.
Hi, I'm Daniel.
And so we're going live today to talk about preparedness when moving to East Africa. Just checking to make sure all of our stuff is good, but it looks like everything is, yeah, there we go. We're live and on point. So you will see Awaken with Mark in the chat as well. So that's good. Okay. We are monetized and everything. Okay, we're in the chat, so I can also answer questions and things like that by typing back and forth to you guys. So welcome. We're Awaken with Mark. We're the Bradley family living abroad in East Africa. And today we're answering burning questions and considerations about how to prepare to move to East Africa. So we got our trusty list here with Mom, and the family's going to run down a lot of things a lot of tools that will help you guys mentally and financially. Before we get into that, let's throw it to Dad. Dad's got some important stuff for you guys.
So let's see, we got how many people in the room?
Looks like 3 so far, including us.
Oh, okay. Just want to say hi to the folks that were waiting. I remember seeing 2 waiting or so like that. Where are you watching from? If you could just say the city name or state name. And also, because I'm just curious, does our logo behind my wife and I look straight to you, or are you seeing it backwards? I'm just curious.
It's straight. I can see it here from my end on the phone here.
Oh, fabulous.
So it's looking good, Dad. Good job.
Okay. So who do we have on the line, and where are you from?
And also let us know with a 1 if you can hear us okay. Okay. Awesome. Accidental Carnivore watching from Canada. Welcome to the live.
Oh, wow, from Canada. There's some folks here in Zanzibar. A couple of people I can think of from Canada.
Oh, yep.
The owner of Johnny's Restaurant, which is where a lot of us go to get a nice meal. And it's more like Swahili. What's it say on the screen now?
Yes, the logo is straight. Thank you.
And also Shalamantu.
He's from His family's from Canada.
Yeah,
That's right.
I think he's on the Vancouver side up there.
1. Thank you. Okay, you can hear us. Cool. We got 6 people in here. It'll fluctuate a little bit, but thank you. All right, cool. Take it away, Dad.
So some of the stuff that we're coming up with, we've been asked these questions before, and we're trying to be diligent to provide you with helpful information. One of the things that I have learned in life, though, is sometimes folks don't know what they should ask, and you're kind of counting on the other person to volunteer what you don't know. So one of the most deadliest things is you don't know what you don't know. And huge to us is that this requires a transformation. We hold meetings and talk about things a couple of times a week, as a matter of fact. And one of the things that Josiah has really emphasized to us is the importance of transformation for this move abroad. And for that matter, for anything that you're trying to do. I will say this, if you ask a question, please put a question mark in front of your verbiage and make sure when you type it out, it's not a short bullet. Put some clarity to it so that we can understand what you're asking. But it is important that you lead with a question mark as if you were writing in Spanish or something like that. So anyway, transformation. What I mean by transformation is we're going to go into a lot of the weeds and details and what something may be required to do. But the point is that you have to have a change of heart. You have to, just as a caterpillar turns into a butterfly in the chrysalis or whatever, the cocoon thing, you're going to have to change. And the reason why is because there's a huge cultural difference. This is, as my wife often says, this is not a move from New York to DC. Even though those are cultural changes, there are so many things that are provided and that are natural for you. It's really not that big a deal. But when I say transformation, I'm talking about please fall in love with the process. And what I mean by that is the process that requires you to own the research, do problem solving, have critical thinking skills, be innovative. Why is that? Because this is going to require a lot of judgment, and judgment is required when things are very complicated or complex. So to move from anywhere in the United States to one of the 54 countries on the continent of Africa, trust me, that is a complicated matter, and it's not the same for those 54 countries at all. So you're really going to need to own the process, and you need to fall in love with the fact that you want to be on Google and researching what you can and then joining Facebook groups and all that kind of stuff. If you don't do those things, it's going to cost you money. And what's funny is what prompted this is our meeting we had this morning, and we were thinking about how people ask content creators, how come nobody answers the question how much it costs to move to the continent of Africa? Josiah and I saw Ashley in Africa. She's moved to South Africa. She answered this question so eloquently. Go Black to Africa has answered this question. Golly, Journey with Us, T3ME. Yeah. Here's what the deal is. We don't know your lifestyle. And we've said that before. We don't know your spending habits. Look at the wall behind me beyond the TV. We do not have works of art that cost thousands of dollars. Is that good or bad? Well, it's neither. But that's not how we spend our money particularly, okay? If you do, we don't know that. So how can we tell you how much it would cost for you to move? You may like, as I often say, the Gucci or the Chanel bags. That's fine. But how do I know to build that into the cost? So I don't. So those are the kind of things that you really got to take into consideration. Let me give you a quick story, and then we'll go on with answering your questions that you're typing. And I see people are saying a lot of things already. So I guess just go ahead and interrupt her, and we will answer them. But anyway, I want to give you a story. So I moved from the Midwest to the Washington, D.C. area, the DMV. And what happened was, at the time, I had a Camaro, a Berlinetta, and it has twin tailpipes, and that is key to the story. I had a finite amount of money. I had used money for a U-Haul truck. I had used money for gas. I had made a couple trips. And so anyway, when I'm finally literally standing at the Department of Motor Vehicles, the DMV office at the countertop, I actually had a difficulty with the amount of money I had. And here's why. So when I drove my car from the Midwest, where we get 3 feet of snow easily, and we use a lot of salt on the roads, when I took my car for inspection, which we don't have where I'm from, it failed the inspection. And they told me I needed twin tailpipes. That means 2 mufflers replaced. You're talking thousands of dollars on a Camaro. And I was like, oh my goodness, so that ate up my money. And so you're making trips back and forth to the Department of Motor Vehicles. That's what I'm doing. And then finally, I got my certificate of inspection that I had passed, and I'm standing there at the counter, and the lady says, okay, good, okay, let's move forward. Oh, I see you have a Motorcycle classifications on your license. Would you like to continue that? My pockets were empty, and I couldn't even afford 36, 56, whatever dollars it was to transfer the motorcycle classification on my license over to Maryland. Because the state of Maryland has some of the most rigid vehicle inspection requirements in the nation. And we've lived in California also. That didn't exist where I came from. It was a different culture. There's no way that, well, there was a way. If I guess done more homework, but how was I supposed to know until the car's inspected that perhaps the salt had done a little erosion in the tailpipes and I'm gonna need to replace those on and on and on. Because that was just the mechanic's guess as to why it failed. But my point is, you don't wanna be caught short of money like I did. I eventually did go back and get my motorcycle classification and so forth in the state of Maryland. But you don't wanna be standing somewhere in another country and find out that you're short of money because you thought maybe $20,000 was going to do it, but you didn't realize or you forgot that you needed 3 to 6 months rent in cash in advance for wherever you're going to live. And that could come to the tune of $10,000. So you've spent half your money right there. So I hope my little story provided you, it really happened, and I hope it provided you with a little clarity on how things can go a way you don't want them to go.
So as Scar said, be prepared. Sorry, I'm quoting villains, but he was right. That's what that testimony was right there, from 2 different states. So it's also the same with different countries, and you just got to be prepared. And so that's the theme of today. I'm going to read off some questions here, and then we'll go to Mom's trusty notebook. Daniel, how about you and I go back and forth with the questions and whatnot in the chat from time to time? I'll just kick it off for the beginning. Again, hello, Accidental Carnivore. Hello, Trimiya Yasharel, Accidental Carnivore, watching from Canada. Trimiya Yasharel, I hope I said your name right. Shalom, watching from St. Louis, Missouri.
St. Louis, oh. St. Louis.
Wait, in case you don't know, because if you're a subscriber, thank you. If you're not, welcome. I hope you consider subscribing. Why is that a big deal for you, though, Dad?
Because it's only an hour and a half from where I grew up, and I spent a lot of time going down to St. Louis. Also, my parents were in that area. And there's a brother or two who are from that area who are living here in Zanzibar right now.
Yes. So just in case you didn't know that, that's why that's important. That's why you got that applause. Okay. What's up, Ethan? For Washington, Maryland. Love you, bro. Thanks for coming in.
Hey, bro.
Trimiya. Okay. Glad you were able to get a hold of Brian. That's great. You're preparing to visit Zanzibar soon. That's great. Glad to hear that. Accidental Carnivore. Question. As a single woman who is almost retired, will I be putting myself in danger traveling solo? I hear women who are single are disrespected because they're not married. Is this true? Family?
Let's start with Mom.
We have met a lot of women that are single, and we've seen a lot of women on different YouTube channels that are single, and they don't seem to have a lot of difficulty. I think because they've come with a different mindset and everything, and things have seemed to be working for them. And also they've kind of found themselves in various groups, which we will be talking about, that's kind of helped them along the way so that they don't have, maybe a lot of the difficulty that they thought they might have. Because there's a lot of women from mid-30s and on, up to 50s, 60s, that are coming. So, like I say, it all depends on where you're going and things like that. But a lot of women have seemed to be doing pretty well. We found we were just talking about that today. There's a lot of single women that are moving to Africa and other places. So that should work out pretty good for you.
Very good. Anyone have anything else? That was good.
Yeah, there's a video that we have where we interviewed one of
Yes.
several single women. And so if you let me use
Go
my
to
fingers
Popular,
here.
Dad. That's great, Dad. Yeah, go to Popular. It'll come up faster. We'll show you this to you guys if you're new. Yep, right there.
Yeah, I highly suggest y'all check that video out.
It'll come up in
Interviewed
just a little bit.
a friend of ours who's a
There you
single mother living in Rwanda.
So check out this video here. Single mom moves from USA to Africa with a very good friend of ours who's in Kigali, Rwanda. So definitely look into that. Lots of encouragement, lots of truth, lots of insight.
You know, we cannot predict how people are going to react to you. So you heard from my wife, and Josiah told you to take a look at the video. I hope you can see it there with Tammy speaking. She's up in Kigali, Rwanda, and she came down here, and she was answering questions like that, as a matter of fact. Is it possible? Yeah, it's very possible, because in this particular culture, it's different, and the men are a little bit more aggressive. They can also have multiple wives. So they're looking at things totally different than maybe what you're used to. Did you mention, because I was looking at my screen, but there are single women, in fact, there's a lot of single women who are living here in Zanzibar in the development.
Yeah, I didn't mention here, but I did mention, yeah, we have met, like you said, where we live now, there are a lot of single women, various ages. Some have children, some don't. So
Yeah.
they seem to be doing very well. So yes.
But you do need to keep your head on a swivel, okay?
There we go. I just put the video in there for you guys, okay? In the chat. I hope that should help, especially for you guys on the replay as well. Just go to the live chat tab. So that was great. Thank you, Mom and Dad. I hope that is encouraging for all the single women who will watch this and are curious about preparing to live abroad. We also have, hey, Aunt Adrian. Love you. Thank you for tuning in.
Hey, Aunt
Miss you.
Adrian.
Trimmy, Dad, she says, I feel special from Missouri, from St. Louis. And yes, I'm a subby. Thank you. Your context is extremely enlightening. And Accidental Carnivore, thank you for your insight. Much appreciated. You're very welcome. And so with that, Mom, what's the first question? Daniel, I'll throw the chat to you from now on. So let me know if you need some backup.
I think one of the first things in reference to traveling abroad is luggage.
Yeah. Yeah.
We've gone through different variations of that in our travels. From first when we got here, from coming from the States to getting here, we had like 20 pieces of luggage, and so that was kind of interesting. But we had recently gone to visit family in the States, and on our way back, we were figuring, okay, we want to try to do this a little different this time. We had less luggage, but we were still trying to figure how to do that. And so we were able to, we all bought luggage, like 2 apiece, and then we bought one big piece of luggage and put an empty one inside. So like if we want to bring things from home to bring back, we would have an extra luggage without having to buy one. But we looked into getting a gauge that really helps you to weigh your item, to weigh your suitcase. We were doing this makeshift thing that wasn't really working, where you stand on a scale and do it, and that wasn't right. But we found out a scale. We did it through Amazon, and it's a thing that you hook onto the suitcase and you hold it up. And we got this through Amazon. It was only like about $12 or so, but it really helps you to know, because coming the way we did, like say if you did a carry-on, it was like 7 kg, but if you did like a check, it was like, I think it was 25, 21 or whatever kg.
I think so.
Yeah, so it just helps you to kind of easier when you're traveling to actually have an item that you can get. And like I say, you could purchase it through Amazon, and that's what we did, and it really helped us.
Yeah, I don't know if you said the first time we came here, we were picking up the luggage, and we were weighing ourselves and the luggage, and then we would subtract our own weight, and that's how we would determine if we were overweight or the correct weight. and this was our crazy plan to check. And we even met people who told us that. I think we went into a post office or something in California asking about it, and this guy was like, oh, you might break our scale or something. But he recommended the same thing, so not a lot of people know about it. It was very helpful for us when we were returning back from the States for travels. And it saved us a lot of headache, a lot of time, so yeah, and money.
Right, definitely that. So when we went and had everything weighed, when we got to the airport, we weren't over, so we didn't have to pay any fees. So that was fabulous.
Yeah, we didn't have to pay any fee, and as a matter of fact, we were sitting down today just talking with one of the family here who had watched some of Go Black's videos and our videos and others. And so we were talking about things here in the living room, and shout out to you, Eric. And he said, yeah, because he went over. So it's going to cost you money. And if you remember what I was saying at the beginning, because I see the room's got a lot more people in it now, but these little things are the foxes that spoil the vine, because these little $100 here, $200 there will begin to add up.
And it depends on like where you're going or the type of seating that you have, like the class, the weight will change depending on that. So if we had this device, it would have helped a lot more, because I think it's always going to be possibly a little more, like, I'm saying that wrong. Their scales at the airport, we think, are usually more sensitive. So you always kind of want to have a little less than what you're going to be taking there. And so if we had this in the beginning, we wouldn't have had to have thrown away some things. So, yeah, it's really useful.
That's great, DB. Yeah, I mean, those scales have to be. And guys, check in the live chat, both right now and on the replay. We included the luggage scale from Amazon that we used. The link's right there in the live chat right now if you want to look into that. We also go into more depth on tomorrow's video. So if you aren't subscribed, subscribe, and hit the notification on that video. It'll let you know when it goes live, but it's coming out tomorrow afternoon EST, okay? We'll go into more in depth on the tools we use when we went abroad.
Yes. We got a question
Go ahead,
from
Daniel.
Accidental Carnivore. I am trying to figure out whether to settle in East Africa or West Africa. It seems there are many cultural differences, including the temperament of the people. What are your thoughts? How do I say this? So, you know, it kind of makes me think about the difference in maybe states, or like you have East Coast, West Coast, or you have New Yorkers versus, I don't know, I haven't been to New Jersey, but I've seen people have different temperaments. And it's kind of like, if you know you can deal with, you know, certain cultures of people, what I'm really saying is it does still depend on you. For us, we are a little bit more laid back, and so we kind of vibed, we gelled more easily in East Africa. We have not lived in West Africa, but it was a combination of things. It was the water, which we've talked about in some of our videos or lives before. So it's a little difficult to answer your question because I have not been to West Africa. But East Africa has been great for us. Anyone else have a response?
I definitely want to co-sign on what Daniel's been describing, especially that East Coast, West Coast kind of a thing. So West Africa, we have not been to West Africa. We have not been to West Africa. People here or in other places have kind of told me that the West Africans are more like African Americans. What does that mean? We tend to speak loudly. We tend to speak very assertively. Things like that.
Like a little bit, just more lively, I guess, relative to East Africa, just a livelier personality in general.
So what we have up on the screen is, and it may be challenging for you to see, but at least you can glance at it. This is something free. We give this away free, right? Yeah, okay.
Starter guide.
It's the Epic Africa Move Starter Guide. What happens is it helps people with a readiness assessment and a couple of other bullets you see there, design your world. And by design your world, what we mean is what your question is about. To find out what it is you prefer and pinpoint that so that you are happy in the environment that you choose. Also, I don't think we say this enough. It might be helpful, number one, if you make a visit to the continent. I admit, we did not do that, okay? Number two, where you move to doesn't have to be your forever home. Many people check out one spot and then they go to another location based on the vibe and how it feels to them. So what I'm suggesting here on the starter guide is if you work through this and anything you can find on your own that helps you to decide what is it that you really like, and to then analyze the countries, because the Gambia is going to be different than Ghana, but they're both over that direction. So I hope that's helpful.
Anything for you? Oh, go ahead.
Well, real quick, yeah. So the starter guide, Josiah has put a link in the comments, so you can in the chat. Sorry, so you can sign up for it. It's free with email, and it's really designed, like Dad said, to help you, answer for yourself with like different questions or things we put in there to make your trip easier, to be less stressful too. So yeah, it's free. So I highly recommend it. Yeah.
Did you have anything, Mom?
No, not in that area.
Accidental karma. Okay, yes, thank you. Yes, so definitely check out all these links will be in the description for everyone on the replay. For all of you guys right now in the live, watch the live chat because we're dropping links in there for you, okay? All right, what's the next one, Mom? Or did you have more about luggage?
No, that's it. The next one, Mark mentioned a little bit about it when he first started, but it's about when you're coming here and you're looking for a place to live, or even if you're just coming for a short period of time. The way they do things in reference to getting a place to live, you have to pay a certain amount up front. We're used to going in the States, you go to an apartment and maybe you do a lease for like a year and you pay monthly or something like that. They don't do that here. You may have to pay 3 months in advance. You may have to pay 6 months in advance. Things are like kind of like pay as you go, so to speak. So those are things that you're going to have to be looking into in reference to when you're going to come and stay for however period of time you think you're going to stay. So that's one aspect. Anyone else?
And the reason why she said 3, maybe 6, maybe 12 months in advance, it depends on what they're asking, and we don't know your negotiation skills. You may be able to talk them down from 6 months to 3 months, which for us would have made, well, let's see, 6 months for us was almost $10,000. But the good news is you're not paying monthly for all that 6 months. But then again, you just took a large chunk of your cash out. So that's it.
And you need to think about that. Everything we'll be sharing their considerations for your savings, for your investments, because if you haven't caught on, we've only gone through 2 things on the list, but this is about the transition. Because a lot of people who ask us, like Ashley in Africa, and ask us, like, how much does it cost to move to Africa? A lot of the time, it's kind of like they're already thinking about being at the destination, as opposed to thinking about the luggage and like the weight scale that we gave you guys. They're not thinking about budgeting for rent if you have to do that, or budgeting for buying land, negotiation skills. What are the land laws in whatever African country you're going to? We're used to fixed pricing. And you have to be more flexible than that. Save as much money, invest as much money as you can, of course. But just like the list of stuff we're about to go through here, you got to itemize things for yourselves and go slow. Like in Swahili, it's kidogo kidogo. It kind of means like take your time. So to speak, little by little. And that stuff can eat up your finances because you might be excited about some form of fixed price with something, with one thing, but you may need to negotiate something else or vice versa. So we just want you guys to keep those things in mind. Ma?
Yeah. See, that's the only other thing I wanted to add to that. Just the same as the rent, your water and your electricity is the same thing. It's like you pay that in advance. So a lot of things that we're talking about, it's like the opposite. In the States, you kind of month to month or however it goes every 3 months, but it's different here. So those are things to really think about.
And it's not like it's calculated out for you. It's like you have to do that, especially here. I don't remember the full process in Kigali, Rwanda, but here it's like you have to know how many, if it's electricity, how many kilowatts or how many gallons of water. You have to know. It was a little bit of a challenge for me to adjust when asking, how much do I need to pay for? And they're like, well, how much do you use? And I'm like, how much do I use?
Yeah, I can answer that.
Okay.
So for us, I finally figured it out the other day.
You told me, yes.
And so, but I'll only speak to electricity for right now. So let's say 36 kilowatts is about 70,000 shillings. So for us, a family of 4, right now we're running the air conditioning quite a lot because it's very hot here right now, and fans. So you may be talking, how much? $27. Okay, so we're talking, so maybe 27, 14, 50, so 30, $60 a month, and that's for electricity. But you're paying in advance, and you're not floating things and negotiating with Pepco or somebody like that, or I forgot what it's called in LA. You're not, no, you're not doing that, and you're paying for the water in advance also.
Yes.
Okay.
Daniel, looks like we got a question.
So we got a question, another question here from Accidental Carnivore. Is it possible to find a short-term stay for 1 to 2 months? So I believe that is possible. Again, it does depend on where you're going. We do know people here who have stayed, when I say here, I mean in Zanzibar, the island off Tanzania, who have stayed here for 1 to 3 months or more. They've gone via Airbnb, hotel. I know we stayed in a hotel in Kigali, Rwanda for a few months. So yes, it is possible. Does anyone have anything to add, or is ready to go back to the question?
You can go back, Mom. What's next, Mom?
Okay, the next thing is going shopping here does not look the same as going shopping where you live in the States. You find that the items that you're used to getting where you live, they may not a lot of times have them here, especially the brands. Or if they do have them, they are very expensive. So those are the things that we have found since we've been here. And when you go shopping, they do not have Walmarts. They do not have big box stores, Costco, things like that. Now, like I said, we haven't been to all the other countries. We do know in South Africa, they do have a place called, I think it's called Macro, and it's something like a Costco. But just shopping here, we have found that items are not, they don't stock up like they do in the States. You know, they have, not saying they don't have days they bring in items, but it's different. And so when you're going to get certain items, you want to make sure you get, if you see certain things that you like, get more than one, because a lot of times they may not have them when you go back. And so it's like trying to make sure when you're getting certain items, get the ones that you like and get them, because either they're there or they're not there. So you want to say something, Mark?
Yes. So with regards to what my wife is talking about, this impacts the questions about differences between West or East Africa and or other countries. So if you're in a landlocked nation, the prices might be higher. And the reason why is because the items are going to come on a ship, they're going to be docked, and then they're going to have to go on a truck, and they're going not across state lines because the continent is not a country, they're going across country lines. So countries are going to have tariffs and VAT taxes that have to be paid, and that's what elevates some costs. Which means if you're in a coastal city where there is a port, for those reasons, prices might be a little bit lower. But then there are other dynamics. But this is just to give you a little bit of added information based on what what she has explained to you. And this is why it's important for you to do your research and homework for yourself. I'm sure somebody runs a concierge service. I'm not exactly sure, but it seems to be a common thread amongst many content creators that you got to know what you want, and you got to understand what it'll take to get what you want and what are the ramifications for your choices.
Right, right. And just to give an example of what he was saying, when we moved from Maryland to California, there were certain items that I was used to getting, and the company maybe didn't go that far. Now, maybe there's a Starbucks all over the place and there's McDonald's and things like that, but not every company is everywhere. Some places are only in the East Coast. So certain things that I wanted, I had to order them. And so that could be the same thing here. And like you say, because we can have the port and everything can come, but sometimes they take a long time getting here, or they just don't come here. So go on, Daniel.
Yeah, so really trying to break down those walls of it's not, it is different here, but it's not so crazily different that you couldn't have experienced something different in like the West or East Coast. Like I remember us going to Walmart in California, and I think it was just food. There was no clothing section. There was no like kitchenware. Well, there might have been kitchenware, but there was no electronics section. There was no like lawnmowers or certain
household things. Yes.
It was just food, and it's just like I'm not used to that coming from the East Coast and DMV, where every Walmart is huge. So you really gotta have an open mind. Yeah. So next thing.
Well, the next thing is websites.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Anybody want to speak to that?
Oh, yes, I brought that up. I brought that up. So remember, this is about you and your mindset. And we didn't really mention that, but
That's true.
that's part of the transformation. It's dealing with your mindset. Because I'm used to getting online and examining what's available at a Best Buy online before I go there. So what I have come to learn is, from an East Africa point of view, it operates based on you going there. That they may not be as big on websites, but rather Facebook.
Yeah.
They may have some things,
Instagram.
Facebook, things like that. And so that's a shift.
Yeah.
And you say, well, these are all small shifts. Yeah, but over time, all these little small shifts can begin to wear on you as an American, because we are kind of coddled in having so many different variety of products and services and fabulous world-class infrastructure. I mean, they're running Formula One race cars in Long Beach, right? And so it's just so just amazing. So give the countries time to elevate, and also don't poo-poo on the way that they're doing business. It's not, one of the things I've had to swallow is, it's not that our way was right, it's just that their way is different. Their way is not wrong. So something to think about.
Yeah. That just reminded me, communication and community will help as well. The groups that we're in our community help a lot when it comes to transportation, We'll have some things to say about that. But transportation, grocery shopping, buying furniture, where to live, etc. So that also will stretch you. That might be good for a lot of you extroverted, outgoing people who might be coming to Africa, better yet, maybe the East African portion. There's overlap likely in both sides and all throughout the continent. But that's what's really helped us to get, this fine, what is this, teak furniture, teak table that we got here, the chairs we've got. The teak, like, where do we go for electronics? We all love our electronics. Daniel, if you're new here, is our tech guy in the family. So he wanted to know, where's the nearest Best Buy or Target? Oh, it's something else called Biggie's is one of the electronic stores we go to. And what are the products like and things like that. And so by talking to our neighbors and our friends here, and you should do the same thing in your Facebook groups and whatnot as you're preparing, that will take you a long way. We've talked to locals here in that regard, and also in the regard of neighborliness, like, cup of sugar, some butter, and they talk about, like, when they went to the States or maybe somewhere in the West, depending on where they went, or not so much, they were like, people don't really know their neighbors, right? They felt a little standoffish or something. Well, that's true. Things have changed over time. I'm sure Mom and Dad can speak to that. I have some memories from the 90s as things were transitioning. Why do I say that? Because the neighborliness and things, again, will take you a long way to furnish your home, to find a place to lay your head, to figure out how the groceries work, to find your electronics, whatever you need. So, yeah. Did you have more to say about that, Mom? If not, we can go to the next one.
We can go next one. Let me see. We are used to speed and time. Where we're from, everything we want it yesterday. Or if you're having someone come to your house to fix something, they might be a little late, But I think here thing is, they're not really consistent in a lot of things that they do. They're not necessarily quick to getting to you. They'll get to you when they get you. So time to them is not necessarily something they look a lot into like we do. So that thing is being patient and trying to figure, okay, how do they do things? Trying to understand how they function and how they flow is another area that you got to be flexible in. Do you want to say something, Mark?
So I pulled up on the screen to respond to your comments, Marlene. This is a book that we highly recommend that each of you get. It's being entered into the chat. And if you're able to at least see the cover, it's a blue cover and it says, Africans and Americans, Embracing Cultural Differences by Mr. Joseph L. Mbele. So it says Africans and Americans. It doesn't say African Americans. Let me be clear about that, all right? So it's coming from that perspective. Mr. Mbele is a university professor. He's from Tanzania. He taught at University of Dar es Salaam. He also was a professor at the University of Madison, Wisconsin. And part of his role was to prepare individuals who were moving to the continent of Africa. That's us and you, those who are interested, right? So what he does is he gives stories in there, and he touches on things like time and or not picking up strangers in the U.S. versus everyone would do that here on the continent. They really, little kids just run around walking everywhere, and people just help them, and they help you. There's no concerns like that. So this is an excellent, inexpensive book that you can get off of Amazon, and it is, in fact, I think this ought to be required reading. You have to get this book. This will help you in your mentality on the things that Marlene has been talking about to get you ready for the cultural differences. Thank you.
Very good. I did think of something. That is something we talk about a lot on our channel, and we'll be talking about more. Also, in the newsletter, it will be dropped into the chat in a little bit. If you are new here or a long-time sub and didn't know, we have a newsletter. It's called the Awaken Letter. So if you're curious about traveling abroad, the cultural lessons involved, if you're interested also in entrepreneurship, the creator economy, success principles, get on that. www.awakenwithmark.com. You'll find it in the blog. Just sign up. You'll get it free directly to your email weekly or as often as I'm writing it. But we talk about the cultural things, including but not limited to that book. I put it down there in the chat for you. But that's been a major shift. You'll see in our videos we say things like kidogo kidogo or pole pole. Kidogo kidogo, I believe, means little by little, and pole pole means something like slow, slow, especially here in East Africa. I don't know what to say in West Africa, but this is our experience so far in East Africa, 2 years now, 2.5 years, is it kind of reminds me of those spy movies we watch where the spies had enough is enough, and they go off grid. Or like, I don't know how many of you guys like your crime procedurals. We loved The Mentalist with Simon Baker, and that happened on the show. He was a detective and a consultant, and when it got too much for him solving crimes, he went off grid somewhere in Mexico. I don't know, Dad, maybe was he in Playa del Carmen where we went? But why am I saying all of that? A lot of this life we're experiencing feels like that. Off grid, slow, getting away from the overwhelm that comes with Western life. There are things we appreciate and miss about Western life, but the overwhelm and the super fast rat race pace is not one of them. And that can bring culture shock if you're not detoxing from that. So that's why I went through that story there. It really can be, in its own way, off-grid living, both literally if you're in the rural countryside areas somewhere out here, and also just relative to the speed and efficiency and the standardizations you're used to in the West. So you're really going to want to incorporate that with mindset and cultural differences, the blogs, the YouTube you consume as you research. All right. What's the next one, Mom?
How can I word this? When you go shopping, you're probably not going to get a receipt. They do not itemize things here. They don't come and bring you a bill. Even if you go to a restaurant, they'll tell you what your price is, but they're not necessarily going to give you an itemized receipt, or even when you go grocery shopping. Those are things you have to ask for. That's just not something they do. We're not completely sure why, but that's another area that you have to be ready for and try to really work your way through that, and you have to speak up. So
did we get receipts when we lived in Kigali, Rwanda? Was that like common?
Sometimes.
So you can kind of see how it very much differs from country to country. And sometimes you'll go into a store and there are not prices listed at whatever food you're trying to buy. So that also plays into the receipt. It's like you really have to be checking what it is you're buying, keeping track, and then you come behind and ask. So all of these things can stack up if you're not prepared or being intentional in your mind. It can be very stressful.
And I guess this is the things that we're trying to let you see is that they're just different. And I think this is what we're trying to really explain to you, that a lot of things that we're so used to in the States, you have a strong infrastructure. There's not necessarily that here. And so all the things that you're used to doing in your day in, day out, going shopping, buying things, doing certain things, it's just different here. So
especially like how you may pay for things, like so one of the most popular form of buying things here is via cash. It's cash is king. After that may be Tigo Pesa, which is like a form of purchasing things via your phone with your number, and then maybe they'll accept card. So I think we typically use Tigo Pesa quite often, but a lot of the people here, the local people, do not like Tigo, possibly because of taxes or how it's deducted. They might have to take out extra or do different steps, and so then you might have to talk to them for a bit because maybe you didn't have cash. Maybe you come in from America, well, obviously you like, I'm gonna just put it on the card. Maybe they don't take card. You gotta plan ahead, and you might have to send extra. So yeah, those are things I'm thinking of situations we've been in.
Even with all the things that we're sharing here, one thing is certainly clear. We love it here.
Yes.
We love it in
Yes.
East Africa. What we see are opportunities, and that has to do with your mindset. One person is on perimeter in Atlanta or the Beltway or the Dan Ryan in Chicago or the 5 in LA, and there's a mound of dirt. One person sees an abomination, the other person sees, oh my gosh, that's filled dirt I could buy, and then I could move it and sell it and make a little money on that and invest in something else. So you've really got to shift your mindset and say, oh, okay, so there's plenty of opportunity here, and we've run into a large contingency of family here, as well as many of the countries we've been to, the 3 countries we've been to. So that's not going to be a problem. And one thing that I've noticed is they're very innovative. They see solutions.
Yes.
I don't know if you ever had a boss who said, or a supervisor rather, who said, don't bring me problems, bring me solutions. And you might have bristled at that. But the point is, they're asking you to look ahead and what do you see that we could do about this? Because business is really just simply about solving problems. And so that's just letting you know, even though we're listing these things for you, they're so that you are as prepared as possible, and we're sharing our experiences. They're anecdotal experiences and some of our friends and family here, but perhaps it has the weight that we've lived it. That doesn't mean it's the final say. You may have a different experience, but I tell you this much, if you could just have a positive attitude, a growth mindset, then you can go very far.
Yeah, thinking about the cash-based system, some might find it easier to save money that way because you always know the amount, how much you're spending. Like I remember when we were getting out of debt, we kind of switched a little bit to more cash when we would pay for stuff. So now you always, like how it used to be, instead of just putting your card down, it's like you don't really have to think about it. Versus it's like every time you take out your wallet, it's like, man, there's less and less money in here. But if it's just your card, you're not thinking about it. And so that can be another way to see things differently, to open your mind to save more, be more conscious about your spending. So, yeah, we have a comment here from the Hebrew Shemites Collective. Shalom, family. Good to have this live. Welcome. Welcome. Shalom. Next question.
Transportation. A lot of people have asked us, are we going to get a vehicle? We're not sure yet. I know Mark would like to get a motorcycle, so that's probably going to happen. But driving here is interesting. They don't have a lot of street lights, like stoplights and stuff. They'll have stop signs here and there, but they tend to just drive. So it's just a little different than what we're used to, and so we're not sure about that. But also a lot of people that have come here have said that they still have a vehicle where they're from. They're like, what do you think about, bringing a vehicle? Well, you got to think about that too, because they drive on the other side of the road. So you got to decide, okay, are you going to just get a vehicle when you get here and forget your vehicle, or are you going to have your vehicle wheel changed? There's a lot of things that go into having transportation to bring over or to do it here. So that's a big thing that everybody's talking about. So
Yeah, that is a strong consideration. Is it really worth it to pay to freight that vehicle over here and then pay the tax? Because if your steering wheel is on the left-hand side, it's going to need to move to the other side. Or if I mess that up, vice versa. But it doesn't matter. It just means the other side. And you're going to have to pay taxes for that. So they have the moto taxi, of which is the motorcycles. And that's, you just hail one, or you can call somebody and they'll come and get you. And that's a cheap way to get around. Of course, they have the buses that you can take and get around. The Bajaji, which is a three-wheel deal like a rickshaw or a trike, but it's motorized. And that's a cool way, but that only seats 3 people. So there are different ways to move around. And I guess I'm in a shift. Marlene was kind of looking at me and saying, yeah, we're not exactly sure if we're going to necessarily get a car. There's something that's working in me, and we'll talk about this as a family, and we have a little bit before. First of all, I don't mind being chauffeured around. I don't mind giving my money to a black man or for his business as a driver. I also like the fact that he understands their driving culture. Because there's no passing zones and things like that. And you got to kind of be on your P's and Q's, especially if you're on the left-hand side of the road. And he knows where he's going. You could say, well, doesn't GPS take care of that? Well, you may lose your signal some places. So it's nice to have somebody take you, and you're able to do other things like either to talk to your family or work on something, your channel on the way. So that's pretty cool.
Just to add to what he's saying, also having a driver is that we're not fluent in Swahili yet, so it really helps when you have a driver that knows the language. So that really helps. But our sons have done Swahili, and well, we were all doing a Swahili class a little while ago, and so that's been like a shift, but we want to learn, and we have a good friend that's looking to teach Swahili. And so that'll be something you'll be hearing more about. So, but that helps to be able to communicate better. So,
if you have an interest in learning Swahili, we've already had a couple people contact us. As it says on the screen behind us, Awaken with Mark, in this case, at gmail.com, and just say Swahili class. I'm interested. That would be good. That way she gets a good quorum of people who are interested, and she can begin to look at delivery and logistics, because she's already started videotaping and things like that. You don't have to worry about where you are. She'll figure out how it's going to be, either Zoom or whatever, or you can look at videos. Those details will be worked out. If you get in early, you might be able to influence which way that might go. If you get 3, 5, 7, 15 people who are deciding and you're in the early goings, don't be shy to say how you want it. So again, you're going to send that email to awakenwithmark@gmail.com, just like it says behind us there.
We have some comments coming in from the Hebrew Shemites Collective. Your logo looks spectacular. Thank you very much. Thank you. Yes. Also see, wow, a different culture in the same country. Yeah, it's culture is huge here. As our cousin would say, Africa will eat you up and spit you out if you're not able to adjust. The culture is different, and then you have different tribes that may, they have different cultures within the same country. Exactly. So, but we do love it here. Yeah, it's been exciting. Y'all have anything next or anything to add?
Did we go through all the questions?
We went through all the questions.
What you got, Dad?
So we're trying to bring up on the screen now some of the analytics. Give me a second here. If I can chew gum and walk at the same time. Let's see here. There's a global peace index, because sometimes people ask about crime.
right.
And
We have felt safe here, just so you know. the differences of being in the States and being here. It's just, there's just things we don't have to think about. You know, if we see a policeman, I'm not like, you know, we haven't had that difficulty. So it's, people are really, really good people here, and we've met such really good people here, and so, just have felt safe. So, just so you know that.
And while Dad's pulling that up, just reminding you guys, culture eats strategy for breakfast. We are not saying do not strategize, though, and we're not trying to scare you guys or anything like that. If you're new here or need to catch up on our videos, go through our channel. We've also been to like Prison Island, Nemba, more fanciful, exciting, fun things. We've gone to dinner and things like that. Prison Island sounds scary, but watch the video. It's the total opposite. But just want you to know, we bounce back and forth as we share our adventures, living abroad here in Africa, what we're learning about business, solving creative problems. It's different. We've been American. We've lived the American way and Western way of doing things for so long. And so you're kind of watching us change and develop as we go along. We just wanted to share it with you guys. What's up, Max Dennis? Peace and blessings, family. Keep up the great work.
Hey,
Thank you,
Max.
brother.
So in terms of the Global Peace Index, just a quick glance here. So as you can look at, well, you may not be able to see it too well on the map. East Africa is in the yellow. West Africa has some yellow and some greenish there. The countries, let's see here. Tanzania is at 2.0. Cote d'Ivoire is 2.0. Rwanda 2.0. Guinea-Bissau 2.0. Angola 2.0. Let's see here. And then I'm trying to scroll all the way down. United States is at 2.4. So I just listed off a lot of countries in the East Africa area there, and they were significantly below the United States. And so what I typed in was the Global Peace Index is what I went to, and you can do that also. And let's see here. Now I'm going to go to cost of living. If you're in Baltimore, Maryland versus a target city of Dar es Salaam, meal at an inexpensive restaurant might cost you $17.50 in Baltimore, and it might cost you $2.06 in Dar es Salaam. So a meal for two people at a mid-range restaurant, 3 courses in Baltimore, $75, in Dar es Salaam, $23. Let's see here. A bottle of water, a 0.33 liter bottle of water in Baltimore is going to cost you $2.70. Dar es Salaam is going to cost you 27 cents. So I just read off a couple of things there for you. I once heard it's important to know the cost of cigarettes. I forgot where I did that in my reading. But in Baltimore, Maryland, $12 for a 20-pack of Marlboros. In Dar es Salaam, $1.76. So there you go, just in terms of cost of living. If you guys have any more questions, I'll take this white off the screen here. If you guys have any more questions, just put a question mark in front of your question, put it in the chat section there, and the guys here, they'll read it off to us. I'm going to pull up something here that we offer. And this is what we have agreed is our foundation. Now, I don't expect you to be able to read all that, and that's why we give it away free as a downloadable document, thanks to the excellent web work that this man here does. But anyway, basically, it's the 3 pillars to success, and we call it that because we started with moving abroad, but then we realized if you want to be successful in anything, you need to know you need these 3 pillars. And so we then built the things that we offer around these 3 pillars to make sure we're touching on them. And that's why one of our free items, which is the downloadable starter guide, has the readiness assessment, the deal breakers, because you need to spend reflective, introspective time to find out who you are before you start asking us, well, why did you go to Kigali? Because our reason is different than your reason. You need to, it may be as simple as, we just love the ocean, or being able to see. I know I do, and y'all seem to have agreed. Because we had a chance to buy a house in the inner, what do they call it in California? The inner Inland Empire.
Oh, yeah.
Here we were 20 minutes from the beach in Los Angeles, and then we were going to buy this house in the what they call the Inland Empire, where, I mean, it looked like it was so hot out there that scorpions would have been fainting. So it just, even they were beautiful, love that Spanish architecture. I love that. I wanted that. But it's like what Daniel says, just because we can does not mean we should. And so we took time, and they said in the car, yeah, this is nice, but I'm not feeling this. And so you can't go by somebody else's thing. These 3 pillars to success for us, we build around them. An identity. You're black, African American, you're Yashriel. You know who you are. You know land is promised to you. Or your identity, you also know you like to be near the ocean, or you like to be in the mountains, or you know that you like and enjoy an urban environment versus living in a village. Because people are going to tell you, you need to live amongst the villagers. Well, no, you don't. You need to do what you want to do. And I wish people would spend a lot of time on those kinds of things first, because you're the one who's going to have to live with your choices. The second area is your mindset, which is what we're trying to talk about with these examples that we gave you of the list that Marlene was reading through there. Of course, there were individual in the weeds kind of items, but the big picture, the point is, do you have a flexible mindset? Because you are going to be going from a very level 5, meaning you know everything like the back of your hand. I mean, we could ride to Baltimore blindfolded.
Very familiar.
We could be in LA and go down to Hollywood because you worked there, Josiah. I mean, it's a 20-minute ride. It was easy. But now all of a sudden you're in a whole new country. You don't speak the language. And the little things will get you.
Yes, they will. It's the little things, like Denzel said, like not being able to, if you don't have a car, having to wait to get a Bajaji or a taxi, needing to remember to itemize, maybe make your own receipts when you go grocery shopping or when you enroll in a course. Trying to understand how they're using, if you come to a Swahili country, karibu. Because they'll say karibu to welcome you into the house. They'll say karibu to welcome you to the table. They'll have food out. If you're at a friend's house, they'll say karibu for. You got to be, what did Bruce Lee say? Be like water.
Yes,
be flexible.
be like water.
We're not playing. We're not trying to be dramatic, because these things, I promise you, we're trying to encourage you. We're not trying to scare you. We're just giving you the real. You begin to implement these things and reflect. It'll spell success for you. But those are the things that help. Go ahead, Dad.
Number 3 on this list of 3 is the processes. And people always want to start there, meaning they start their prioritized list, their to-do list. You may even do your Excel spreadsheets. And that's what I'm talking about here. That's what we are talking about. But the deal is, you're not ready for that yet if you haven't decided where you want to go and deal with the cultural changes, which is going to take you a while to do that. And if you don't get those under your belt, then it becomes it's not as productive to get your virtual address at the post office, or I'm sorry, wherever you're going to get it, or deciding the family's going to pick up your mail, all those little tidbits.
Yeah, I'd just like to say it wasn't accidental that this was named the 3 pillars to success. That was not like, oops. No, that was intentional. Because these pillars can really help you once you've grounded yourself in these things Dad listed to then go off and decide, do I want to live X or do I want to live Y? You know, it really helps.
And even beyond traveling abroad, you can apply. I'm trying to apply these things to other creative endeavors, business endeavors, relationships, everything. So, what you got, Daniel?
So we got a new comment here from Ebony. Hey, Ebony.
What's up? What's up?
Do you have any family members back in the U.S. who think it was crazy for you to have moved to the continent? Did we have anyone that thought we were crazy?
No.
They didn't say it to our face.
Yeah,
If they did,
Nobody said anything. We're blessed. Thus far, I know a lot of people have not had that. Ebony, I don't know if you have moved yourself or not, so you might have gone through it or not. We know some people there's some family tension. There's some real struggle, like for real, and they're working through it. I remember we did have a conversation with Dad's side of the family that was very encouraging, and they really, really blessed us. We don't get to see them a lot, but we got to see them late last year. And in short, they said that they were proud of us. They were excited to see, sorry, Dad, what we share online or when we're able to talk. They enjoyed asking us things about our experience here in Africa so far. So, not to spooky spiritualize it, but we really give thanks to the Most High for real because he says cast your cares on him. And Ebony's question is, that's as real as it gets. You know, it's your family. We Black, family is everything for us. It can be hard, but that's lifeblood. And sometimes when you're separated, that can get really, really dramatic. Oh, cool. Okay, I haven't met you. I am Max's Ebony. Ha ha. Okay, my bad. I'm still recovering. You can't see it, but you know, I will walk again. So yeah. So thank you, Miss Ebony. But so far, yeah. Anyone have anything else?
Yeah, I do want to add one thing to that. That's the other part of that. My brother and his wife are coming to visit us in June, so I'm really excited about that because they want to come and visit ahead of time before the move because they do want to move here. But I'm glad they're looking to do that. They're going to go to Rwanda and then come here because they're thinking Rwanda might be where they are, where they're going to settle. But thankful that because you know everybody's always asking, you have any family come and visit anybody? You know, but that's the beginning. So we're praying that that's the beginning and more people, you know, will come and just hearing from them coming, maybe that'll, you know, stir it up for other people. So
Don't forget to use the tools of the kingdom. We spent time fasting, praying, shoring up who we were, and understanding the ramifications of that. Does that mean a person who's having a little bit of challenge isn't doing those things? No, it doesn't mean that at all. I'm just simply saying that don't forget to go into your toolbox that the Most High, that Daddy has provided for us. These are tools for us to use so that we can effectively implement, execute His will as we best understand it by faith.
What you got, Daniel?
Got a comment here from Aunt Adrian. We are very proud of our family's move. I do miss my sister Marlene and our time together, but video chatting is helpful. You have anything to say? Yeah.
Love you, Aunt Adrian, again. Miss you. Had a great time with y'all last year. Can't wait to see y'all again soon.
So maybe it's obvious. I'm Captain Obvious. So the person who just typed in, for those who don't know, is my wife's sister. And so she's telling you exactly, she's seeing the comments and she's replying herself. Our son, one of our other sons, is also on the line. And our nieces, back in the Midwest, they're not on, but I remember when we had a big family meeting, and one of her daughters said to us, and she also said it, she said, "We see you as breaking curses in our family and really moving higher and creating a place for us to come visit and or to move eventually ourselves." And so one of her son mentioned that also. He asked about it. And so did another niece back in the DMV.
Yeah.
And so,
Real life stuff.
yeah, this is real life stuff. Thank you, Josiah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I was
yeah,
losing my
good.
words there.
No, because we whether you believe as we do or not, sometimes you see YouTube videos and Instagram and the highlight reels, 2024 at this time, and we know how that works. Everything's sexy and beautiful and everything, but we do miss our family. When you do what's in your heart and what you think you're called to do, sometimes you have to go on different paths to do that, and sometimes that means missing people. It's for real. I got a best friend back there. I got, again, our brother, one of our brothers is on the line. We got young nieces and nephew that we love and miss that we're, getting to know, sister-in-law, other friends, and just all types of long, deep-running familiarity that we're not around as much as we used to be, And it is real life, but we're thankful that we have. This is our situation. Your situation may be different when you choose to move abroad, or maybe you are already wherever you're watching. And I'm just glad that we have each other to get through this, to do this thing together.
I'm going to ask that if you have received the Epic Africa Move Starter Guide, which is on the screen right now, could you please send us your feedback? We're trying to put together things that are helpful for folks. Now realize that this is only first base. There's second base and third base, and we have other offerings. So this is not meant to be everything at all. It's just what it is. Starter guide. Thank you, Marlene. That's why it's called Starter Guide. So send it to awakenwithmark.com@gmail.com. Thank you.
Got some comments coming in here. Some more on Adrian says, "Love you. Hope to see you in 2025." Hope to see you too, on Adrian. Love you too. We got a new comment here. I believe your name is Simiya. "I am new to your page, but I enjoy your content. May the Father bless your family. Blessings." Thank you. Thank you. Blessings to you.
Blessings, thank you.
And welcome to our channel. I have a comment from Ethan. Hey, brother Ethan. "I'm missing my parents and my two brothers, but I'm also very proud of you guys and what you've accomplished. Yah has really blessed you. I'm enjoying the pictures, videos, and our page. Love you." Love you too. Miss you.
Love you, Ethan. Yeah, because this is a family business and a whole family endeavor. And we're really proud and excited that Ethan and Matthew also contribute from back over in the States. Thank the Most High for this technology and means of connection. It's great.
Yeah, a lot of the things that you've seen put together on the YouTube channel, or when it comes to the art or the website, these are all, this is a group effort, getting help from, brother Matthew or Ethan or Elizabeth Mabry, who helped with the color scheme that people really like, the green, or even our friend Tiffany. So it's been a huge help for everybody. Thank you, everybody. We're closing in on almost 11,000 subscribers.
Yes.
And we've,
Thankful.
really, really thankful for that. So, yeah, I guess we're,
that's it. Y'all got anything else?
yeah.
The last thing Daniel was saying, we're closing in on 11,000 subscribers. We are so grateful to the Most High. We're thankful to you all. At just 10,000 subscribers, just in case you didn't know this, over 90% of YouTube channels do not make it to 10,000 subscribers. I meant to double check that I had done that little search earlier.
I think Roberto Blake or someone like that, the YouTube experts, yes, said something like that.
Also, if you hadn't noticed, we are becoming almost more generalistic in our videos, meaning you're going to see things that help you in your life move forward. And the reason why is because the same principles that apply to a move abroad might apply to somebody who is called to write a novel, or someone who's called to work with special needs children, or children who are on the spectrum. And so what it is we're trying to elevate our game and realize that the principles that the Most High has put in will help people to be able to accomplish those, and it's about understanding it from that point of view, how faith works. So that's what you're going to see more and more from us.
Last, I want to say thank you to my grandmother, too, who helped us when we were in the States by reviewing some of our videos.
Yeah.
That
We're
was fun.
serious when we say, like, our family. You see them in the comments. You like they do help us. We also got, I'll say these real quick, we got 2 comments from Simiya. Some more beach content would be nice. I love the sea. We're well received. Dad loves the water, so we'll work on that. Thank you.
Yeah, I think you said, yes, you said you're new. Unless you've watched them already, check out our videos of Mnemba Island, of the sea turtles, of Prison Island. That's some beach content for you if you haven't seen them. But duly noted, we got you.
We also got a comment from Claudia Love. Hi. Hey, family.
what's up?
Thank you for the great info, as always. Great positivity. Love you guys. Much love.
We love you back. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, that's our live. We want to thank you guys. Thank you to the Most High. Thank you to my beautiful family for coming together again to just share our experience, share some encouragement. Simiya, okay, we'll do. Thank you. Yes, okay, yeah, check that out. And any of you who are new, we have other beach and travel content from our time in Rwanda and from our time here in Zanzibar so far. So please go check that out. Anija says, great job. Thank you. So as we close, we want to say again, thank you. Asante sana in Swahili. For all of our offerings, we are trying to also help you guys who are interested, just like we are, in coming here and learning more. AwakenWithMark.com. That's AwakenWithMark.com. That's on the screen behind us. Our channel is AwakenWithMark, just .com. There you will see our bios. There you will see the 3 Pillars to Success free poster that can be applied to whether you're traveling abroad or whether you have any type of endeavor in life where it helps you unlock the powers of mindset, of identity, mindset, and appreciation of processes. Next, you should get your free Epic Africa Move starter guide to help you assess for real whether you're solo traveler or traveling with your family or a group. What are your values? What do you want to get out of traveling abroad? Also remember, you don't have to homestead immediately, or wherever you go first, you do not have to stay there. You can travel throughout the continent. You can travel wherever you want, wherever the Most High leads you, wherever your heart leads you. You're welcome, quite frankly, says thank you. You're welcome. And then last, at the time of this video, last is the Epic Africa Move workbook. In there, you will build off of the assessments that you did of yourself and of your family. You will do further work to further, say again? Thoroughly pinpoint more easily where you want to go, why you want to go. There's more assessments and charts in there that will help you. Dad touched on some of it. That's the book on the screen right there of cost of living, appliances that you need. There's information, I believe, about flights. There's all types of very thorough information built off of the work that you did in the free Epic Africa Move starter guide. You can find all of this and more at awakenwithmark.com. So that's it, family. With that, we will see you on the next video. Be blessed.